I'm back with our friend Simona Mangiante, Italian attorney, entrepreneur, also former legal advisor to the European Parliament. We're talking about Giorgia Meloni. Simona, you know, Italians are famous for being very family oriented, and I can understand that Italians would see a threat to the family as being something that was, alien to the Italian values. But let's talk for a moment about Christianity. It seems to me that what you're saying is that even though some Italians may not be so religious in, for example, going to Sunday Mass, nevertheless, they cherish their Catholic and Christian heritage. And so, for example, if you had a kind of Italian Antifa walking around the streets of Rome and knocking down statues, Italians would go crazy because that's their history, that's their culture, those are their values.
Absolutely correct. Independently by how practicant, observant you are as a religious person, you are respectful of your roots. That's what we are made of. As I said, this victory, which was truly overwhelming, represent the fact that our values haven't been corroded by this agenda. I don't think Antifa would survive long in Italy. That's a matter of fact, and it's independently by your political affiliation or political ideology, because there are the roots that you need to preserve, and it's a value that it's important. And as I said, the victory of Giorgia Meloni represents that, and we've been threatened also by the some leaders in the European Union, which saw in the victory of those values a threat to what they're trying to push, which is a secular Europe. But our society, we are the seat of the Vatican, we know that, and we breed those values, and we grew up, every and each Italian grew up with those values. So for us, looking at the United States right now, which has also been a leading country in the world, the Biden America has weakened the image of the United States as a whole, because we can't look up to a society which is afraid to define its roots, to protect its roots. So we are pretty proud. I'm really proud of the victory of Giorgia Meloni. We are opening up a seat of her party here in America. We already have few, just to keep talking about those talking points, those values that we need to defend, the society that we need to protect. And Christianity is a huge part of Italian society. Our welfare, I always say, it's family. It's not this distorted way to conceive the government controlling you by giving you monthly allowances. This is a form of control. Our structure of protection is first and foremost family, so we will never take a family away from the Italian scene, the Italian way to conceive society. It's the first pilaster of our society. And that's why Giorgia Meloni coming into the Plaza of Italy and talking straight to Italians about those values, she literally won by landslide.
Simona, what about the issue of nationalism or patriotism? Again, this is something that is, Americans have traditionally been seen as patriotic, but you don't see Europeans, by and large, in European countries waving their country's flag and so on. Now, Italy, of course, has a glorious heritage, of course, going back to ancient Rome. And so in some ways, the slogan, "Make Italy Great Again," which of course mirrors Trump's "Make America Great Again," makes a lot of sense. If you were to say "Make Italy Great Again," I mean, it seems like that's what Giorgia Meloni did, and it seems like it struck a chord with the Italian electorate, right?
It's absolutely. She's first and foremost, she always importing this slogan from America. She always been one of the biggest Trump supporter in Italy forever. Ever since her name was not even well known in Italy, I was already talking about Giorgia Meloni as one of the biggest Trump supporters. She's been hosted by Maria Bartiromo multiple times. So she's been at CPAC. So even when she wasn't known as much, she was looking up at Trump America, at Trump as a president, and emulated this model, imported this model in our country. Now, what's wrong about protecting your identity? What's wrong in promoting patriotism? What's wrong in being proud of your roots and defending them? This is another distorted agenda of the liberal world that would like us to lose our identities in a sort of globalism that doesn't represent who we are. We can coexist respectfully, still being proud of our national values. This is all comes to being a patriot, love your country, protect your country, and protect your identity in the world, because it is important in this globalist agenda to protect your identity and know who you are. So that's really the sense of make Italy great again, like make America great again. We would like to first and foremost retrieve this pride of being the descendant of the great Roman Empire in a certain way, and build our foundation on Christianity, which make us absolutely great, and we should be proud of our values. We shouldn't try to emulate other secular countries in Europe that are trying to confuse us. We will never be comfortable in a society which promote gender fluidity, that teach children to dress, little boy to dress like women. We can confuse people. We're creating a weak society in the future. We should stand to our grounds, and then of course our personal choices has to be respected far ahead, but doesn't mean that we need to change our institution, deny our religion, and cancel culture, what's going on in America, just to redefine and rewrite our history. That's not the way it works. We are our history. We can progress from our history. We can move forward from our history, but we should first and foremost be able to say who we are.
Simona, great job. Very interesting. It seems to me that, the left is dissolving identity at the global level, but they're emphasizing identity politics, as you know, with race and gender, sexual orientation. It seems like what Giorgia Meloni is doing is coming up with a different definition of identity. I'm an individual, I'm a woman, I'm a Christian, I'm an Italian. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Simona, and helping to clarify what these things really mean. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.